someone told you right now, hey, you should make a vision board, what's your gut reaction? For most Muslims, I know it feels like it's something that belongs in a teenage girl's bedroom or in a self-help seminar. Not exactly something you would bring up with the brothers after your weekly Friday prayer, Jummah at the mosque. I was completely in that camp. For years, I thought vision boards were at best just some fun, creative project for people with just too much time on their hands and too many magazines. At worst, spiritually a bit off. Like, are we trusting like this collage now? Like, what's the point of this? So in this video, I want to break down the neuroscience behind why vision boards actually work, why they're specifically powerful for us as Muslims, and crucially, how to build one without it feeling cringy or un-Islamic. By the end of this video, I promise the words vision board will mean something completely different to you. Look, I completely understand the skepticism. I lived with it. Vision boards have a very specific energy, like lots of your manifest your millions, the universe is conspiring in your favor, all of that sort of messaging, which as Muslims, we should absolutely put up some distance between that and ourselves. We don't trust the universe, we trust Allah. That's not a small difference. But here's where I think we've made a bit of an error, and it's a mistake I've made for years myself. You know, we've rejected things like vision boards because of the framing that it came in, the way that it was packaged. And that's a bit like refusing to buy a car just because of the person who tried to sell it to you was like really bad. The core concept of a vision board, holding your goals in front of you visually, repeatedly with emotional intention, that's not mysticism. There's documented cognitive science, and when you look at it through an Islamic lens, it's something that's deeply consistent with what we're supposed to be doing as Muslims, which is making dua and pairing that with genuine effort and having trust in Allah. So let me offer you a completely different frame for this tool. Forget the vision board as a manifestation ritual, forget the pretty Pinterest collages. Think of it as two things working at the same time. First, a neurological training device for your attention, and second, this is the bit that most Muslims have probably never heard of, a visible physical dua list, a daily reminder of exactly what you're asking Allah for and actively working towards it. Okay, I want to introduce you to something. It's called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. This is just a little bit of science just to kind of help you understand how this works, and it's not going to get like super technical. Now, your brain is being hit with millions of pieces of information every single second. Sounds around you, the temperature, background conversations, movement on the sides, the weight of your clothes. Your mind cannot process that consciously. It would just completely shut down. It would just be information overload. So what happens is that your brain has this filter, the RAS, which decides what actually reaches your awareness, what is actually important. Everything else gets screened out before you even notice it. And here's the crucial part: filter is programmable. You can train it either intentionally or by default. You've experienced this already. Think about the last time you bought a car or even started seriously considering one. Suddenly you start seeing that same model everywhere, every road, every car park. It's like, did the world just fill up with that car suddenly overnight? No, that's your RAS. That's just flagging up things that are important, things that are relevant. Same thing happens when like your wife or someone you know that's pregnant. Suddenly you start seeing like pregnant people everywhere. They were always there. It's just that the brain wasn't filtering for them. This is the same mechanism behind vision boards. Every day you look at those images, you're essentially updating your brain's filter. You're telling it this is relevant, flag it, surface it, make it visible. And let me show you exactly how this loop works. So here's a 5-step loop to help you understand how this works, and you'll never look at a vision board the same way again. On the left, we have the vision board itself, but don't want you to think of this as a decoration. Think of this as programming. Programming you are deliberately feeding your brain every single day. Every morning you glance at it, every time you look at it, every time you walk past it, you're sending a signal to your brain, and that signal goes directly into your RAS, your brain's filter system. Whenever you expose the RAS to your vision board, you're programming it to let it know what it should look out for that's really important. Flag them whenever they appear. This leads us to box 3, which is conscious attention. Suddenly you start seeing coincidences all over the place, but that's not the case. It's just that your brain's been trained to spot these things. Like, I would love to go Umrah in a few years, and suddenly I start hearing people going to Umrah. I start hearing these conversations, I start seeing things online, start seeing YouTube videos. It's not that these videos suddenly appeared or these conversations just appeared out of nowhere. It's just now that I'm paying attention to them. Box 4 is aligned action. So noticing isn't the point. It's about acting on what you actually notice. And that consistent action produces box 5, which is real and measurable progress on your goals. Not one big dramatic leap, but as compounding momentum over time. Arnold Schwarzenegger was running the exact same loop decades before neuroscience had the vocabulary for it. Teenage Arnold will cover his bedroom walls, floor to ceiling, impossible to ignore images of bodybuilding champions and luxury homes. He's spoken about how his brain began treating success not as a distant dream, but as a destination he was already traveling towards. He wasn't wishing, he was programming his mind. So the RAS feeds on what you give it all the time. And it's about using that to help you work towards your goals. Now here's the part that I'm most excited to share because it reframes the entire tool, and it's something I genuinely wish someone had explained to me years ago. There's an ayah I want you to sit down with. Call upon me and I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir, which is chapter 40 verse 60. Allah isn't just permitting dua, he's inviting it actively. He wants us to ask him specifically, repeatedly, and with clarity and intention. Now think about how most of us make dua. You know, we're in sujood, we're tired, we have a vague idea of that we want certain good things, a barakah, health, rizq, income, for life to generally get better, and Allah hears all of that. But having things specific really helps you when it comes to making dua, and you can actually make dua for those specific things. So here's what I have on my own personal vision board, and these are things that kind of evoke emotion for me. One is like a beachfront property in Malaysia, going scuba diving and seeing some clownfish. That's just like really kind of gives me like really good energy and really invokes emotion for me. Flying business class as well. I would love to do that on somewhere like Qatar Airways, and the reason is, like, you know, all the food's going to be halal, so you're going to be able to kind of really enjoy it. But more importantly, each one of those images is like a prompt for your dua, and the big combination is making specific dua paired with real work and just having your trust in Allah, tawakkul, in the outcome. That's an amazing Islamic framework for how we can operate. And dua isn't separate from this strategy, it is the main part of the strategy. And this vision board keeps the goals visible. The visible goals become goals that you actually pray for, work towards, and stay accountable to. So most productivity tools are like either very motivational, you know, they give you that emotional kind of hit, or they're very structural where they give you like some sort of system, but not many tools do both. So on the left side we have like the brain programming, and this is all the things we spoke about with the RAS. Over your time your brain starts noticing patterns and opportunities and information that's relevant to you hitting those goals. And there's a great thing that Novak Djokovic, who's like, you know, who's won so many world championships and majors in tennis. I love this story from Novak Djokovic, who writes about this in his book Serve to Win. He spent years rehearsing himself holding Grand Slam trophies long before he ever won one. He was training his mind to treat the destination as real. Now on the right side of the diagram we have active dua. This is the column that I think most Muslims have generally ever thought about with a vision board. Your vision board looked at every day with purpose becomes the most visible version of your dua list. You know, you can't scroll past it, you can't forget what's on it, and every time your eyes land on that image of the Kaaba or your family or the home you want to build, that's a prompt. Bring that specific ask to your sujood, which is when we kind of pray and we have our head touching the floor, which is one of the best times to make dua, and the vision board can help you in making your dua specific and helping you reach your goals. So the important thing is not about just hustling and hustling and hustling and not having any sort of spiritual framework, but it's also not about just making lots of dua and then not doing any work. The vision board helps you keep both running in parallel. It's about having trust in Allah and doing action, dua and strategy, heart and your brain. So this isn't just self-help, this is an amazing Muslim operating model. Right, we've covered why at depth. Now the how. How do we actually go about making a vision board? First, the images have to generally move you. This sounds obvious, but most people fill their boards with just generic, like aspirational imagery, like money and luxury and cars and stuff like that. But it's not just about having some sort of generic neutral image. You need the image that really stirs something in your chest, something that gives you a really clear signal. For me, one of the most emotionally important images on my vision board is having the Kaaba, because I would love to go there with my family. And now that I've put that image up and started thinking about the Umrah, I'm starting to notice that there's all these people that have been to Umrah recently. So this is where you go to Saudi Arabia and perform the mini sort of pilgrimage, which you can do at any time. And my ears started pricking up and hearing things, and I was able to ask people questions like, how much is it? Where did you stay? All of this sort of stuff. My RAS was doing exactly what it's supposed to do. US college American football training facilities, I've seen a lot of videos about this. I don't know why, it's something I've just kind of got into. They deliberately plaster their boards with images of trophies celebrities and players who made it to the NFL, who become pro. This is specifically to plant the belief that if someone from here did it, so can I. If there's trophies that this place has won before, we can continue to win them going forwards. That's intentional emotional programming. Know which images give you that emotion, that give you that like energy, and try and put those onto your vision board. Secondly, placement is non-negotiable. A vision board you don't see is a vision board that doesn't work. Oprah Winfrey didn't tuck hers away. She made sure it was visible. Arnold Schwarzenegger covered his bedroom walls, floor to ceiling. First thing he saw every morning, last thing every night. Mine is just right behind my monitor, and every time I look up from my screen, there it is. So find your equivalent. You know, it could be a bathroom mirror above your desk, next to your prayer mat, next to your bed, just somewhere that you go past regularly and you will actually see it. And thirdly, done is better than perfect. Don't spend ages just trying to make the most perfect, amazing vision board, otherwise it just does not get done. The vision board has trapped more people in perfectionism than almost any goal setting tool I've come across. People can spend days hunting for the perfect image, then redesigning the layout, then questioning the whole format. I've done it. Here's the antidote. Step one, just go to Canva. It's like an online art graphic tool, very easy to use, and I recommend people use that. Step two is find 5 to 10 images that generally move you, not images that look like a knife life in the abstract, something that really has an emotional connection to you. If there's a car that you want, have this picture of that specific car. Yeah, and be honest about what moves you. Don't just put something on there because you think it's going to look good. Step three is just put it up, imperfect. Just put it on there. Maybe you only have 3 images, that is totally fine. And maybe the layout looks really bad. Doesn't matter, just ideally print it out and stick it on. Step 4 is just to see it daily. That's the entire mechanism. You know, morning is ideal. When you've woken up and your mind is clear, it could be after Fajr, it could be after any sort of prayer time. But what I find is that I just have it behind my desk and I just kind of just see it regularly all the time. And step 5, this is really important, like evolve it. Your goals might change. Suddenly you might realize, oh, actually I don't want to do that thing. I want to do this thing instead. So yeah, that's totally fine as well. It isn't something that you just do and then you just kind of have it for like a whole year and then you're not allowed to change it. That's totally fine just to change it. And another really important example I want to explain is Mikhail Kingsbury. He's an Olympic freestyle skiing champion. And his first vision board was made when he was 9 years old. It wasn't curated. It wasn't like really pretty. It was literally the words, "I will win the Olympics," written in a kid's handwriting and was penned to his wall. That was it. No design software, no fancy images, just drawing and a belief. In 2018, he stood on the Olympic podium and took gold. The drawing did its job. Kylian Mbappe, who is like a big footballer for Real Madrid and France, did the same thing. He stuck pictures of his favourite footballers on his bedroom wall as a kid. Ronaldo, Ribery. There was no curation, no fancy layout, no strategy, just images of people he wanted to become, somewhere so that he can see them every day. You don't need to be beautiful, you just need to get it done. Here's the thing I want you to carry from this video, just one. Your attention is not neutral. Right now your brain is filtering everything that's coming at it. We need to be deliberate in training the RAS. We've left things just on default and then wondered why the right opportunities, right connections and the right moments didn't seem to appear. The vision board that is best is a daily act of intention. It's the practice of saying, I know what I'm building, I know what I'm asking Allah for, and I'm going to train my mind and my dua towards it every single day. Most people who watch this will think, oh, that's interesting, and do nothing. I say that with zero judgment because that was me for years. But you've now seen the neuroscience, you've seen how it maps directly to our intentional dua. You know what this tool can actually do and why it works. So here's your one thing to do today, not this week, not when life calms down, in the next 24 hours. Find 3 images, just 3 things that generally move you when you see you, and put them somewhere where you can see them tomorrow morning. Just whack them on the wall. That's it, 3 images. And also have some fun as well. I mean, I actually kind of enjoy having a vision board and having it on my wall, and I'll just change it as well. Like, you know, if I find something's not right, or I want a better image, or I just want to freshen it up, that's totally fine. There are no rules to this. We started this video asking whether vision boards were just cringe. The cringe version is what happens when the tools get cut off from intention, from dua, from genuine purpose. And what we've talked about today is something totally different. Now, if this landed for you, please share this with someone who still thinks that vision boards are just for teenage girls. Jazakallah khairan, and I'll see you in the next one.